Hey Devils fans, this is Sam Kasan, and welcome to the Garden State Morning Skate. This is our game day podcast, be dropping every morning on a game day throughout the playoffs. Myself will be joined by Matt Loughlin from the Devils Radio Network, as well as Amanda Stein from NJD.TV, our team reporter. We'll get you caught up on all the news, notes, injuries, lineups, and more, everything you need to know about that day's matchup against the Carolina Hurricanes, and hopefully beyond as the Devils embark on the 2025 Stanley Cup playoffs. But we start with Game 1 Sunday at Lenovo Arena. They'll be facing the Carolina Hurricanes, a matchup that's been pretty set in stone. Well, not set in stone, but pretty set since January. And looking at the two teams, the Carolina Hurricanes have home ice advantage. They went 47-30-5 for 99 points, second in the Metro Division. The Devils went 42-33-7, 91 points, and they finish third in the Metro Division. Head-to-head, the two teams met 4 times, and honestly, it was a pretty even split all the way throughout. Both teams went 2-2, winning at home, losing on the road. Both teams went 2 for 8 on the power play and essentially scored the same amount of goals. The Devils scored 12, although Carolina scored 13. One was an empty netter. So pretty much as even as it gets when it comes to a playoff matchup. And as I said, this matchup has been pretty much set since about February on. And head coach Sheldon Keefe and captain Nico Hischier of the Devils, they're just happy to get things started.
It's great. It's exciting, to still be competing and preparing and doing all that stuff. You're here. There's 16 teams in the league that are not, and so that's an accomplishment in and of itself. But it's exciting. We're here and like I said, ready to compete and excited for a chance to prepare for an opponent and get out and play some playoff hockey. It's just this is the time of the year. It's what you want to do is extend your year and play as long as you can and be alive in the spring. It's the best part about it.
It's the playoffs, so I think everybody in here knows it, and it's just normal. Something your competitive level is gonna raise, like everything is gonna raise. But it's fun. Those games are very intense, and those are the fun games to be part of.
And with that, now we bring in New Jersey Broadcasting Hall of Famer Matty Loughlin joining me for this. Matty, thanks for joining me on the initial show.
Well, Sam, I'm happy to be here, and it's kind of you to say that, but we're just a working stiff like everybody else.
Fair. All right, so I already kind of set things up, so let's get into the nitty-gritty and what the fans need to know about this Game 1 matchup. First of all, injuries. Andre Palat obviously had that ugly shot block in Boston, missed the finale, but all seems to be good to go.
Yeah, and that's good news, of course, because of the experience that he brings. I was speaking with Nico Hischier on Friday about his experience. Well, this is his third playoff, and he said, but I don't have anything like Pally, who's at 150 or thereabouts. So I think that's really important, even though his role has changed and he's now a fourth liner. I still think back to Game 7 against the Rangers and his play along the boards that led to the first goal. That presence cannot be highlighted enough. And so I think it's really good to see him back.
Yeah, and Jonas Siegenthaler has been skating, although as far as head coach Sheldon Keefe said, he wouldn't expect him until at least mid-May. But, of course, we also heard that Dougie Hamilton might not be till the second round he came back. So who knows where that's going to be, but just glad to see him out there in full gear and on the ice.
Yeah, it is. And whether the Devils go on, whether or not he's able to play, that remains to be seen. The best scenario would be the Devils are playing so great defensively. They've moved to the second round. Can we say maybe the conference championship? And Siegenthaler's there as an extra. That's a good luxury to have.
And for Carolina, we should note no injuries of Shane Gostisbehere and Kotkaniemi missed 2 games of the final 4, but returned for the final 2. So they seem all good to go on the health front. As far as the lineup goes, the Devils, the big one, Dougie Hamilton back on the blue line, of course, played in the finale, played 23-plus minutes, too, against Detroit in that season finale after not playing for a couple of weeks. So good to have him back. And no matter where he's at, even if he's on the second power play first, whatever it ends up being, just a huge boost to the D.
I mean, experience, size, the shot. He makes the team that has struggled offensively a little more potent, right? Not just from the power play. That shot can get through from anywhere. So I thought even though they lost to Detroit, that he just made them look different, right? The puck was moving better. It's hard to underestimate what his addition to the team is. All that stuff, the experience, the length, it just makes them better.
Yeah, and I thought, of course, the issue was the lower body issue, suffered March 4th in Dallas, and for me, it looked like his skating was right where he left off. I mean, he was fluid. He was cutting on his angles, using his edges. There was no hesitation when you kind of lean on those legs, that are injured. So looked great to me. Looked like he was back to his normal self. Great to see. Now, the Devils obviously made some acquisitions at the trade deadline, bringing in guys like Daniel Sprong and Cody Glass, and they're looking like they will be in the lineup. Some guys that are out, though, Tomas Tatar, Curtis Lazar, at least it's trending that way. A little surprising there that the lineup is shook out the way it has?
A little bit, but not really. I think that Glass being a center certainly helps. And he got off to a good start with the team. He hasn't scored the way he kind of did earlier, but overall, I think he's been a good addition. And Sprong, to me, has been the real surprise. He comes to the team with a reputation as a scorer. He hasn't scored yet, but he also comes with a reputation of a guy who's a little lackadaisical, not as interested in defense as he is in offense, and I think that he's played pretty well on that end. But he's here to help some offense, and I think we talked about it with Hamilton. I think with those two guys, offense is there. Lazar has been given a chance all year long. I know he's battled through injuries, but he's only got the 2 goals. So I think that they're going with guys who can help them offensively.
Yeah, especially for a team that's really struggled, particularly when Jack Hughes has gone out to score some goals.
Yeah.
And really all season long, but especially with Jack out.
Yeah, and it's going to be tight in the playoffs. It's going to be tight against Carolina, and 1 goal here or there could be a huge turning point in the game.
And speaking of Carolina, the big question with them, obviously we know everything that they bring to the table, but who's going to be the starting goaltender? They've got the veteran Freddie Anderson, the 35-year-old, who's played for many seasons, 12 seasons. Then you got Pyotr Kochekov, the young guy, 25 years old, who held the reins because Anderson got hurt this year. He played 47 games, Kochetkov, and then once Anderson came back on January 20th, they've done a 1A, 1B literal split down the middle. So when it comes down to it, I should say last year they did the same scenario. The last month and a half, they split the duties, and then when the playoffs came, Anderson got 10 of the 11 starts. So maybe they go to the veteran, maybe the young guy. What do you think there, Matty?
I think they'll go with Anderson, but I think that's the one question mark for Carolina. You kind of know what they bring. They're not going to score a lot of goals, but they're not going to give up a lot. They play that Carolina way, which is very frustrating to line up against. But in goal, I'm just not sure. Freddie's had some good series. He's gotten them to the second round the last couple of years, but he just is injury prone. So we'll see what happens. I'm surprised they left him in on that last game. I get it. They were resting a lot of guys, and maybe they just wanted him to get a little more action. 7 goals?
Yeah.
He gave up 7 goals. So, I'm not sure where the confidence level is at. I don't know if that last game meant anything per se, but I was surprised that he was in for the entire 7. So maybe that sits in the corner of his mind.
Well, I guess we'll find out at 3 o'clock tomorrow. But
Yeah.
Last thing for you, what's your one key, or maybe you can give a couple keys, but a big key to what's going to be the deciding factor in this series?
Well, I think that Carolina's home ice advantage is pretty significant, right? I mean, you're driving in as a player, getting ready, and the parking lot is filled with tailgaters and the energy, and they get the siren going, and I think that building can be very loud. And I think they come in with some sense. I mean, the season series was 2-2, but I think they come in with some sense that in the playoffs, it belongs to us against the Devils. And that was true 2 years ago, and it's been true since the Devils beat them the first time they met in the postseason, and they haven't done so since. So I think it's critical not to get the lead per se, although that's important. I just think handle the early rush. They're going to come out. They're going to forecheck. They're going to be in your face. They're going to make it hard on the Devils. Crowd's going to really be a part of it. And if the Devils can handle that a little bit, I think that weighs clearly to their advantage. So I think that's what I want to see them do. And they just got to slow. Carolina's so optimistic. So slow them down. Don't make a mistake. They're humans. Mistakes will be made, but don't make them egregious. The passes have to be crisp. Handle the forecheck and settle in for what I hope is a long series.
Hope so too, and hopefully the Devils get the win on the end.
Yeah, I think so. And I think Markstrom is going to be a pretty key. We talked about the goaltending situation for Carolina. Look, they brought Jacob Markstrom in for this reason. They gave up a first-round pick and a promising defenseman in Kevin Ball for moments like this. And so the burden is heavy, as you know, on goaltenders, but I think that he can handle it. I think he could be a difference maker, but I think we're in for a long series.
Sounds good. Well, Matt, appreciate the time. Let's
You
do it
got
again
it, Sammy. Let's do it.
Let's do it again before Game 2. And that's your wrap on Game 1 of the opening round series between the Devils and Carolina Hurricanes. Again, puck drop, 3 p.m. at Lenovo Center in Raleigh, North Carolina. You can catch it on TV on MSGSN as well as ESPN, or you can listen on the Devils Radio Network all throughout the entire playoffs. Catch it on the app or wherever you get the Devils Radio Network. So we'll close it on here and catch you next time for Game 2.